G'day jabronis, it is the Verd back with you again. As you can see, we are here with week 5 of the PMC. Your Tampa Bay Frogadier is currently 2-2, and this was kind of a must-win, guys. Sharpino and Lucky are both in our division. Sharpino and Lucky both pick up wins, which means that Lucky is currently 4-1 and Sharpino is 3-2. Now, obviously, we get to play both of these guys again, and Lucky and Sharpino both have to play each other 2 times. So, to the back half, it's going to be very tough for those guys, and for me, this was a very important battle because I really needed to win it because it would give me a lot of momentum going into the final 5 matches of the season. The issue being that it looks like when it comes to the Blue Conference, which I'm in, that either Sharpino or myself is going to pick up the wildcard spot. But because we're so dead even, we're not sure which one of us is going to be. So this is like a huge, important game. If I lost it, then I go a whole game behind Sharpino and 2 games behind Lucky, and my chances of really clawing my way back up were very slim. So this was important. So I had an interesting team for J-Specs. I'll admit, maybe wasn't the best thing I built. I really wanted to use Heat Rock Sunny Day Embor with a Choice Scarf Solar Power Heliolisk. Basic premise being that, like, there's no switch in to a specs boosted practically Hyper Voice, especially if I run Modest, but then I'm also having the Scarf factor when I outspit his entire team. But I decided in the end just to go with Scarf Heliolisk, but basically just breaking down the team. We had a bulky Kyurem, basically designed to be able to take hits from Thunderous if it needed to, but also to kind of just be a decent lead against his entire team. Had SD Facade Pincer because J-Specs did have a lot of really solid walls, but they were all about like status, so being able to set up and then like take the status wouldn't have been too bad. We had Mixed Bulk Gramble to basically deal with Mega Absol as well as Latios. We had a offensive Leftover Starmie, which you're going to see as the MVP of this battle. As I said, Modest Choice Scarf Heliolisk. And finally, we had, I believe it was Expert Belt Embor. I can't exactly, and I think it was Lefties. I'm not exactly sure what the Embor set was again. I can't remember. We're going to jump into this battle. I'm not going to lie, guys. I do get pretty fortunate. For the 2 battles I had against Lucky and Cloud, I'm going to get a bit of justice back in this battle, as you're going to see. But he leads out with Mamo. I'm going to lead Kyurem because I looked at matchup and said, well, this is a great lead against his entire team. And I knew from here I was pretty safe just to go straight for the Ice Beam. He runs max speed on Mamo. I wasn't running max speed on Kyurem. If I was, then I probably could have, done a bit more with Kyurem in this battle, but I decided not to. I figured bulk was more important. As he is going to go for the EQ here, I was actually running a sub Kyurem, which was designed for all of his walls, but as you see, he didn't bring any of his walls to this battle. He ran hyper offense, but I'm able to kill his Mamoswine turn 2 with the Kyurem, so that was a good start. It was a good start to the battle. I was pretty happy with how things kicked off. But starting around now is when the battle is going to take its turn for the worst. So basically, I have no switch into Banded Entei. I kind of accepted that from the start. So I was like, alright, fine, I'm just going to play it safe. I'll just go out to my Starmie. Don't really need Starmie this matchup. It didn't look super duper strong against the majority of his team, as he's going to fire off the Stone Edge, and as you're going to see, Banded Stone Edge does a lot. It's a crit too. We do end up living. I know that he's definitely banded, and I'm like, well, I'm going to lose Starmie, there's no point recovering here, so I'm just going to go for a Scald, just try and go for some damage. If I had Hydro, it would be a dead Entei, but I only have Scald, as it almost kills, and he misses Stone Edge. There's hacks number 1 for Mr. Pex. We're going to keep these in mind when it comes to Starmie. So Starmie should be dead right now. Anyway, he's going to go into Latios, which is, fair enough. I have to go for Scald again. Ice Beam wouldn't have killed the Entei, so I had to Scald again. And I get a bit lucky again not getting the burn. As bad as that sounds, it's like, probably people will be asking, like, oh, why wouldn't you want the burn in that situation? It's because, guys, on the next turn, I'm going to go for Ice Beam, and as you're going to see, it is a 2-hit KO on this Latios, and he freezes. Hacks number 2 for Starmie. And I was feeling so bad for J-Specs right now. I was tempted just to go for a Scald to make him Thor, but I was like, you know what? This is just the game we play. Bad things happen at bad times. And honestly, after a couple of battles where I've had min rolls and things like go my way, it was nice to finally have some stuff come back my way. Obviously, I understand that now it's even Stevens when it comes to hacks. I can't complain about it anymore. But anyway, he's going to full switch into Absol. I was a little bit worried here about him going for the Pursuit, but I was like, nah, he's probably not going to have it. he wouldn't want to risk taking a skull to the face first. So I'm going to go straight out to my Gramble, basically because it was just the best way to deal with this Mega Absol. The Mega Absol in the end, I think the set was something like Knockoff, Sucker Punch, Flamethrower, and he didn't reveal the last move. I want to assume it's something like Ice Beam, just because that would deal with my Gliscor, as well as also hitting my Tyrantrum. That's just off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking he might have brought. He's going to pull a switch. I predict this, and I go for an EQ, because I know it hits like everything. As he goes to the drill, I was adamant he was going to bring Scarf Drill. It made the best sense to be his best counter to Mega Pinsir. He brought Sugarberry, and I was really surprised by this. I was incredibly surprised by this decision. But as you're going to see, this thing is going to be a problem for my team. I need Gramble around because it is the best Mega Absol counter I have, and that thing can just destroy my team. So there's no point trying to risk my Gramble at this point. As he's going to pull a switch into Thundurus, I'm actually going to pull a switch into my Starmie to again basically be a sack. I just wanted this thing to die. I was fine with it now. It had got its hacks, it had done its job, it was fine. But Starmie's hacks was not done yet, guys. In one last hurrah, I did the calcs. I knew that Ice Beam would not be able to kill. But as you're going to see, Starmie said, you know what, I didn't drop him on his neck hard enough. Let me just get a quick crit, just for shit's sake. And down goes the Thundurus. And I was like, okay, Starmie. Cool. Jesus. As he goes back into Absol, and I was like, okay, the play into Gramble is very obvious. So I was trying to predict like an Iron Tail, and I decided to stay in, as he's just going to go for Knockoff. And I was like, that's fine. I could have gone straight into Gramble and taken the knockoff, but I felt it was smarter just sacking Starmie there, as I felt it wouldn't have been as useful at that point of the game. And plus, getting the free switch into Gramble, he has still no switch into this thing. Like, I can just freely go for Earthquake here. The reason why I think I'm hopeful I go for Earthquake. I'm pretty sure I go for Earthquake. Reason was just because I knew Earthquake was pretty much a 2 KO on the Absol, and I knew it would kill Excadrill or Entei if they tried to come in. That was just the basic premise, was that I was getting off enough damage to be able to kill at that point, so there was no reason not to make that play. But here's where the battle gets a little bit interesting. I want to say it gets a little bit interesting. It doesn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of things, but it does make things interesting. He goes into Drill, and I know that I need to keep this thing alive, and he knows that too, so he makes a phenomenal play. This turns out to be Sugarberry, and it's sub SD Drill, as he's going to go for a sub, and I was shitting myself at this point. I was like, okay, so I know Earthquake's going to kill me straight up, and my only play, realistically, was Sucker Punching. And like, he knew that, so he just went for an SD, and I was like, okay, I have literally no choice here. I don't care if he gets to +6. I just spam Sucker Punch. There is absolutely no reason for me not to spam Sucker Punch, because at the end of the day, even if I don't break his sub and he outplays that, I have Mega Pinsir in the back that can come in, outspeed this Drill, and break that sub, and then I have Kyurem. Oh no, Kyurem didn't outspeed. I had something else in the back that could help. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. Oh, Heliolisk. The moment I broke this Drill sub, I knew Heliolisk could come in because it was Choice Scarfed and kill it. But, as you're going to see, because the sub has been broken, I can now definitely go into it. Unfortunately, the name was mixed up too. V, who was doing my team, he accidentally called it John Cena when it's meant to be Randy Orton. I really wanted to go for Hyper Voice there, but I decided to go for Surf because it was just a smarter play in the long run, because it would have killed Drill. It just made a lot of sense, and I know that I'm scarfed in the back, so basically I know the game is practically won, because from this point I know that Absol is going to die to an EQ. Like, I know that's just common. It's not common knowledge, but I know that's what's going to happen, so I go into Gramble, playing it safe, because at the end of the day, unless he doubles in a Drill here, he isn't getting out of this without losing a Pokemon. And luckily for me, he goes for the Sucker Punch, knowing that would have killed my Heliolisk, and I knew that too, so I played it smart. At that point, there is no move he can go for that kills Gramble here, as he does reveal the Flamethrower, trying to get the burn. I mean, I did have Heal Bell. Actually, no, I had Rest Talk on this set, just in case, but I'm able to fire off an Earthquake, and that is going to be able to take out this Absol, and that leaves just an Excadrill, and all I have to do here really, guys, is just stay in with Gramble. Even if he sets up a sub with Excadrill, I can just break it with EQ, and if he kills me, I come in with Scarfed Heliolisk afterwards. I know this Drill isn't Scarfed in any way or form, so we are going to be able to pick up a 3 to win. Obviously, there was a lot of hacks in this battle, and I'm not going to try and beat around the bush and say, you know, that I fully deserve to win. I don't know what would have happened if I didn't get some of that hacks in that battle. It's definitely hard to say. I can't really predict that, but definitely a really good battle with J-Specs. We always normally have really good battle. I feel really bad, though, for the result, but he did make some really good plays. This drill did scare me, but we were able to play our way around it. We do go to 3 and 2, just like Sharpino, and we're just a little bit better than him when it comes to differential. So his battles against Lucky are going to decide a lot, because if he loses both of his battles to Lucky and he loses his match to me, that's 3 losses in a row, and definitely I pick up at least 1 win in there, so I should propel myself to be above him and probably secure that wildcard spot. But if Sharpino can manage to beat Lucky at least one of the 2 times, then I'm going to be equal with Lucky if I can keep on picking up some wins, and that's going to mean that your Tampa Bay Frogadiers could potentially clinch the division. Then again, as well, because our division, the lowest amount of wins is 3, and in the other side of the division in the Blue Conference, the highest amount of wins is 2, if I can get ahead of Lucky, I might be able to secure the entire Blue Conference. So the aim of the game now is to hope that good old Lucky ends up losing a battle, and I can come through and get a win and just keep on doing what I'm doing. The team is starting to really work well. I'm starting to battle a lot better with it, but we do pick up this win over J-Specs this week. We go to 3 and 2, and hopefully we can come back next week against Infraready and pull off a big victory. But this has been the Verd, and I'm out this.